the last 12 months has very much been a Team Australia effort. And your organisation, and particularly your membership, has done so much to keep our economy going. And it is our desire and our strategy to get the private sector to take the baton and to run with it. And so being here to talk at an ACCI event is highly appropriate. Can I acknowledge my good friend and partner in the budget process, Simon Birmingham. It's been great to work with him. He's been obviously an outstanding member of our team, and we've worked very closely and productively over the course of this budget preparation. To Bruce Bilson, who knows a thing or two about small business budgets and creating jobs, it's great to be here with you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year ago, our nation was in lockdown. We were staring into the economic abyss. 1.3 million Australians had been stood down or had lost their jobs. At the time, Treasury feared the unemployment rate could reach 15%, or over 2 million out of work. However, we were entering this crisis from a position of economic strength. The unemployment rate was 5.1%. Workforce participation was close to a record high. Welfare dependency at a 30-year low. We had returned the budget to balance for the first time in 11 years. Budget surpluses were forecast in each year across the forward estimates, and government debt was low by international standards. Australia's sound economic position enabled us to respond to COVID as required. Now, beyond all expectations, after the first recession in nearly 30 years, employment has not only returned to its pre-COVID level, it has surpassed it. There are more Australians in work today than ever before. Say that again. There are more Australians in work today than ever before. But we know that the job is not complete. We need to stick to the plan. So today I want to discuss the principles and the strategy that have successfully guided the Morrison government's decision to take so many economic measures to date, and the approach we will take during the recovery phase and beyond. Specifically, I want to talk about how our economic and fiscal strategy was designed to protect jobs and avoid the scarring of the labour market. How the upcoming budget will continue to prioritise job creation and drive the unemployment rate even lower. And how we will continue to ensure Australia's fiscal position remains strong and sustainable. At the outset of this crisis, we laid out a clear set of principles to guide our emergency response. Our response would be temporary, it would be targeted, it would be proportionate to the shock, and it would use existing systems where it was appropriate to do so. And all our efforts would be focused on keeping as many Australians as possible in work. We were determined to avoid the high cost of prolonged unemployment from past recessions. In the 1980s recession, the unemployment rate rose from around 5% to over 10% and took 8 years to recover. In the 1990s recession, the story was the same, with unemployment rising from around 6% to over 11% and taking nearly 10 years to recover. In stark contrast, following this recession, we are on track for the unemployment rate to recover in around just 2 years. From the outset, we were determined to limit the damage to the labour market. This is why the government responded with an unprecedented level of support to protect vulnerable households, save Australian businesses and jobs. We have committed more than $250 billion in direct economic support, including JobKeeper, the single largest and most successful economic support program in Australia's history. The assistance was overwhelmingly temporary and front-loaded, with 3/4 of the support to be delivered in the first 2 years. This ensured the support was delivered when it was needed most and did not structurally weaken our budget position. Importantly, fiscal and monetary policy worked in tandem to support our economy. Just as the government stepped up to provide unprecedented levels of fiscal support, so too the Reserve Bank moved swiftly to ensure monetary policy was highly accommodative. As a direct result of our actions, Australia has experienced a smaller fall in economic activity than any major advanced economy. And we are the first major advanced economy to see both hours worked and employment return to pre-pandemic levels. Australia is now set to avoid what many feared would be another lost generation to long-term unemployment.